Right, party people. We're gonna have a good time today. So I was looking around. There's a city council meeting tomorrow. Today is Monday, February 22nd. Tomorrow there is a formal city council session. And I was trying to figure out, how do I explain to people how you can find out what is going on at a city council meeting, what they're talking about, and just generally getting involved. Because a lot of times you look at a city council agenda, and I'll click one so you guys can see it. So you click on the agenda. If you go to the City of Detroit City Council, you'll see their meeting dates. And you get this agenda, and you can scroll down and look at all the items they're going to be talking about. Okay. You're going to scroll down here, the order they're going to go in. They're going to have all this stuff. Most important thing to remember is if you want to make a public comment about something on this agenda at a city council meeting, you have to call in at the time the meeting starts. This meeting starts at 10 a.m. You call in at that meeting time at 10 a.m. on Zoom. You got to go in on the Zoom and then raise your hand. If you're just watching it live on like the Channel 10 thing, you can't raise your hand to make a public comment. So it's best that you click the Zoom link to go into the meeting and raise your hand as soon as the meeting starts. Don't go in there at 10:25 because they'll probably have already cut off public comment. So you want to go in first thing, raise your hand for public comment. But look, the important thing is, so when you're going down the agenda and you see these numbers on the left-hand side, they're numbered sometimes all the way up to 60 and up. They usually have a lot of numbers. So if you're thinking like, okay, I want to know what that's about, but they might have one line. So I'll give you a perfect example. We're going to go to, I'll say number one of the ones I thought was really important. Now let's go down to one of the ones Brenda Jones's office was asking for a report on. So right here, number 5, Council President Jones submitting memorandum relative to legal steps to ensure OCFO collects employee taxes on contracts. So say that's number 5. So I'm just gonna write down number 5 so I don't forget. And then down here, under legislative policy, I believe there was another one. Here we go. 9 and 10 are the ones I'm really interested in. Number 9 is Council President Jones submitting a memorandum relative to Proposal N discussion follow-up. Proposal N was hot last year leading up to the election. A lot of people have quieted down and haven't really been following this. Same thing, Councilmember Roy McCallister submitting memorandum relative to Proposal N contractors in the Group A. So City Council members have been requesting information about these contractors in the first group of properties that were given out. And so they're following up to these memos, right? So you're like, okay, well, what did they ask? What was on the memo? Thought you was going to ask that. So if you also go to Detroit City Council, if you go to President Brenda Jones's page, it looks like this. Council President Brenda Jones, you're going to scroll down. And this was so dope. This blew me away. City Council agenda items right here. Click on this. This is so wild. The amount of information that's available to us is crazy. So this is a spreadsheet. If you're not a spreadsheet person, don't worry about it. It's not as hard as it looks. Tomorrow's meeting is the 23rd. You see that? You see the plus sign. Click it. We just said items number 5, 9, and 10, right? So let's click one of these boxes and we're going to go. Item number 5. Council President Brenda Jones submitting memorandum relative to legal steps to ensure they collect employee taxes. Came from the Internal Operations Committee. If you go over to the left, you see a little paper clip. If you click it, that means there's an attachment. These attachments pop up. Ooh, it's about to get interesting. Okay, so you see the bottom one is, let's click it. Let's look and see what we done found out. President Brenda Jones says, provide the steps that can legally be taken to ensure the Office of the Chief Financial Officer is collecting the taxes. Because she want to know how we know they're collecting the taxes. It was a short memo. They ain't ask a whole lot. Boom, got it. So let's close out her attachment and let's look at the response, because the response is filed in here too. Come on, somebody. Y'all better get excited about all this information. So it said this how they responded. Who responded to this? J.B. Rising, the new CFO, took over after the other little dude left. Was it Masseron? Was that the one? Anyway, says you have asked the question of how the city ensures all revenue owed to the city is collected and received in relation to any city income tax liability for employees of contractors awarded city contracts. We've also asked if information exists as to the city income taxes collected from residents that are employed on city contracts. So under this City Income Tax Act, reporting, collection of payments, withholding taxes is required for all businesses that have employees working in the city of Detroit at least 25% of their work time. Okay. So then he goes on to explain the answer to her question. And this is how a lot of questions get answered in city council. If you've ever attended one of their meetings, sometimes they can be hella long. So a lot of times there will be memos sent and memos will be responded to. So this is a great way to look and see, okay, what's going on with this. So that's number 5, but that wasn't the one I was really, really interested in. We're going to go down to number 9. Oh yes, number 9. Council President Jones submitting memorandum relative to proposal and discussion follow-up. Let's click the paperclip. Okay, what did her memo say on February 19th? Let's talk about it. Says, during the Monday, February 15th meeting of the Public Health and Safety Standing Committee, which meets every Monday, representatives of Detroit Employment Solutions stated that 1,371 placements in the skilled trades, 11 training partners, and 20 programs. She wants to know, where have these candidates been placed? Who are the 11 training providers? What services are they providing? How much has each provider been paid? How many Detroiters have jobs as a result of these services being provided? What are the 20 programs? So she's asking them to spell this out. Don't just come with the bullet list, because that's the thing that keeps a lot of people in the dark. It's a lot of bullet lists floating around and nobody knows what's in them. So she asked that question. As you can see, there's no response attached here. So it looks like she hasn't been given a written response yet. Tune in tomorrow, see what that's about. Let's go down to number 10, because Roy McCallister wanted to know something too. See what he talking about. All up in the business. I stay nosy. Now his memorandum was in a different format. Had to download it first. Let's see what we can do. Open it up. All right. So Roy McCallister sent a memo to LaJuan Counts over demolition, Boise Jackson over contracting and procurement, and Charity Dean over a civil rights inclusion and opportunity. A lot of times if you're in a meeting, they'll just say CRIO, CRIO, for the Civil Rights Inclusion and Opportunity Department. So in case you hear that, don't be alarmed. But it looks like he's got an information request in here. He want to know about these companies: Intercity, SC Environmental, Junior JRS, and RDC Construction. Regarding the above mentioned contractors, please provide responses to the following questions and requests. Please provide the official addresses of each and how long they have been in Detroit. The date of submission for contract RFPs. The dated certifications with LARA for asbestos, wrecking, and business licenses. Any partnerships with other companies to service their contracts as far as leasing space, rental of equipment. So he's asking, list the direct apprenticeship programs by the company for their respective employees, and any violations they might have. So he's got 8 items on here that he wants the people pretty much who awarded this contract, who said, hey, this company should work out, which is the Demolition Department, Office of Contracting and Procurement, and the Civil Rights and Inclusion Department, to answer these questions for him. And as we just saw, it didn't look like there was a response in the box yet. So I'm excited about just being all in business. Y'all know I like being in business. But if you look down here, if you got some time, if you're just bored sometimes, down here you have over 61 items that are on the agenda, plus things listed under new business, which is a whole separate list of stuff. There's 27 things on new business. So that's like 88 different items that the city council is handling business for tomorrow, February 23rd. So I went through this just so people can kind of get an idea of how to find out what city council is talking about that may pertain to something you're interested in. I would never suggest anybody try to follow up every single item, every single thing. But if there are certain things that are in your area, if there are certain things that are of interest to you, that you're passionate about, that you want to see changes made in, find out where those things are. Find out what city committee is over those things. Find out what area, who handles that, what council person is over it. I'll give you guys another example. Item number 18 on tomorrow's agenda is, and this is why you got to be able to use quite a few different things. Actually, it's not on this agenda. I think it's on new business. number 18. I have both of them opened because they have their regular agenda and then they have their new business agenda, which can have different stuff on it, right? Whole lot going on. So right here, number 18, under the City Planning Commission, that has got my attention because of the addresses. I know that there's a few developments happening in my area. And so I'm usually paying attention to things like the Planning Commission, zoning stuff, revitalization stuff, things with the land bank, the Brownfield Authority. And so these streets, Ford and Pasadena and Grand, are in my neighborhood. And they are also, when I put them on a map, they look like they're right in the area of a development of a company called Greystone that I've been following for a couple months. So this caught my attention. So I'm going to be listening for item number 18 to see what's going on. And if I wanted to go back into that other sheet and look and see on the new business agenda, item number 18, to see what had been submitted regarding that and what was going on with that, I could easily just scroll down here, click on my attachment piece. So they're requesting a rezoning. For anybody who doesn't know what that means, zoning kind of outlines what's able to happen on a property. So this is request for Hamilton Corridor to rezone several parcels, okay, from R2 to M2. M2 is more industrial, R is more residential, like where people live. Because a lot of houses have been like wiped over there and they're trying to build this big, gigantic warehouse, if you will. I'm going to call it a warehouse. I don't think that's what they call it, but pretty much that's what it is. And so they give you some background of the project. And yeah, it definitely looks like that is the project. I don't see the name Greystone on here, but I'm pretty positive that that's the thing. If not, it's something. Yep, this is it. I was going to say, if not, it's something very close to it because there's nothing else over there that's 446,500 square feet. So they got a whole proposal on here, community input, where they talking about how they met with the community. I was at some of those meetings. So yeah, this is going in as part of, this is being presented to the city council for support for them wanting to have that zoning changed so that they can kind of build up that area the way they want to, which is, I guess, normal procedure if you're building something in an area that used to be residential. But this is something I've been following. So I just have, this got my attention because I knew that. So like I was saying, if there's something you're interested in your neighborhood, in your community, there's so much information out here, man. Like there's really no reason for people to be ill-informed. You just got to know where to find it. And so I just thought I'd share that real quick. This is probably more than real quick. It's probably like 15 minutes. But wanted to share that with you guys so you guys could get an idea of how to find out what some of that information is and how to get a hold of it. All right, guys, have a great day.